The town of Buzzleberry. In the small town of Buzzleberry, the skies were always the color of lemon meringue and the clouds floated like whipped cream. The flowers giggled when the wind tickled them, and the birds sang in rainbow tones. In the middle of this cheerful town stood a tiny shop with a twisty pink roof and doors that sparkled like jelly beans. This little shop was called Scoopaloo's Magical Ice Cream Shop. It was not an ordinary ice cream shop. It stood on 4 glittery springs and bounced slightly every hour. The walls changed colors depending on what kind of ice cream people were dreaming about. Children from all over the world came to Buzzleberry with wide eyes and giggle pops in their pockets. Each of them had heard about the magic that lived inside this shop. The mysterious scoop maker. The shop belonged to an old ice cream maker named Grandpa Tilo. He wore a tall jelly hat and his shoes were made of crunchy cone crust. Grandpa Tilo came from a place called Licolot Island where people made ice cream from giggleberries and fluffle nuts. Tilo had learned the secret of magical scooping from his grandmother, who had learned it from a cloud-whispering goat. With a swirl of his zibble wand, he could make ice cream flavors that matched the wishes in your heart. Each scoop had a sparkle. Some sang lullabies. Some floated. Some gave tiny hugs. But Tilo had one rule: only kind-hearted children could taste the rarest flavors. A visit from the world. One sunny sizzle day, 5 children arrived at the shop, each from a different part of the world. Lila came from a desert town in Morocco and wore a scarf that smelled of cinnamon. Hiroshi from Japan carried a tiny paper crane in his pocket. Aisha from Kenya had the brightest smile and a headband made of flower beads. Mateo from Peru wore a poncho with sun stitching. Finally, Mei Lin from China brought a jade turtle that hummed quietly. Each child stepped inside the shop as tiny marshmallow puffs floated by. The walls turned rainbow swirl as the children walked in. The smell of fizz cream and fluffernut filled the air. Grandpa Tilo smiled a slow smile as the children stood in wonder. The flavor of feelings. Tilo tapped his zibble wand and the ice cream counters spun in circles. Then they opened like flower petals. Inside were dozens of magical flavors: Dreamberry Ripple, Laugh-A-Doodle Lime, Whispermint, and Silly Crunch Swirl. Each child is asked to close their eyes and think of a memory that made their heart warm. The ice cream would choose them, not the other way around. Lila's scoop came out glowing orange and blue. It was called Home Hug Spice, and it tasted like a mother's hug after a long day. Hiroshi's scoop floated and shimmered. It was Craneberry Calm, which tasted like peaceful rain on paper. Aisha's scoop bounced like a drum. It was Sunbeam Samba, full of dancing mango and brave papaya. Mateo's scoop spun like a top. It was Echo de Inca, with chocolate winds and cinnamon stories. Mei Lin's scoop glowed softly. It was Lantern Light Lemon, tasting like kindness shared under moonlight. The trouble begins, but suddenly, the colors inside the shop began to dim. The walls stopped swirling. A strange hush filled the air like melted snow. A crack appeared on the counter, and a chill swept through the room. Grandpa Tilo's zibble wand twitched in his hand. He whispered that something was wrong in the realm of ice cream whimsy. He explained that the ice cream spirit tree, which powered all magical flavors, was beginning to droop. It needed a rare ingredient called glowfizzle nectar, which only bloomed once every 100 years at the top of Mount Wibblewobble. Without it, the magic in ice cream would fade and all scoops would melt forever. The journey begins. The children bravely volunteered to go on the quest. Grandpa Tilo gave each of them a tiny cone-shaped charm filled with their magical scoop flavor. These charms would guide them when they were lost. They climbed aboard a flying sprinkle ship called the Fudge Feather. It zoomed up into the clouds and flapped its candy wings as it headed toward Mount Wibblewobble. The journey was not easy. They passed through the cotton candy storm, dodged the jelly drop meteors, and had to make friends with a Sour Patch Guardian who spoke in riddles. Each time they were afraid, they held their cone charms, and the flavors inside whispered courage into their hearts. The mountaintop secret. At the very top of the mountain, the children found a frozen meadow where nothing grew. In the middle stood a sleeping tree with branches like twisted spoons. It was the ice cream spirit tree, and it looked tired. In a glowing hole beside the roots, they saw a sleeping creature. It was a pufflemouse, guardian of the glowfizzle nectar. The pufflemouse had been crying so long that the nectar stopped blooming. Aisha reached out her charm and sang a song in her language. The pufflemouse stirred. Then Lila told a story from her desert. Hiroshi folded a paper flower and placed it on the snow. Mateo gave the creature his poncho to keep warm. Mei Lin placed her jade turtle by the roots. Slowly, the pufflemouse smiled. From its tears, a small blossom began to grow. The glowfizzle nectar shimmered with stardrops and moonshine. Back to the shop, the children gathered the nectar in a rainbow bottle. As they flew back in the fudge feather, the skies began to sing. The clouds clapped. The sprinkle rain danced. When they returned, Grandpa Tilo took the bottle and poured a single drop into his zibble wand. The shop shone brighter than ever. The scoops giggled and floated again. The walls danced with new colors. New flavors appeared in the counter: Unity Berry Blast, Peace Puff Crunch, and Glowfriend Grapefruit. Every scoop had a story of the journey, a whisper of the courage, and a sprinkle of kindness. Sharing the magic. Grandpa Tilo asked the children to each take a tiny sparkle scoop seed back to their homes. These seeds would grow into tiny ice cream bushes that gave scoops of joy to everyone nearby. Lila's seed bloomed in her desert town, bringing cool joy to her neighbors. Hiroshi's seed grew near a temple where it helped people rest in peace. Aisha's bush became a song-sharing spot in her village. Mateo's scoops told stories of the stars. Mei Lin's ice cream gave soft laughter to elders in her town. The world began to feel a little more magical, one scoop at a time. The flavor of forever. Years passed, and the magical ice cream shop still bounced in the middle of Buzzleberry. Children came and went, tasted new scoops, and found old feelings. Grandpa Tilo's beard turned fluffier, and his jelly hat tilted slightly to the side. He was proud of his 5 young friends who helped save the magic of scoops. But the secret of the shop wasn't just in the flavors or the sprinkles. It was in the hearts of those who believed in kindness, in sharing, and in the silly sweetness of dreams.